edit. So
Okay.
let it go.
What I'm playing now. Got some stills already.
Be right back. Alright, record. Okay. Edit. So
Okay.
let it go.
What I'm playing now. Got some stills already.
Be right back.
Poggi on guitar. Luke, how long have you played guitar?
42 years.
Oh, 42 years. What was the first band? The first
The
band.
Avengers.
Oh, you're in the Avengers. Okay. Then you got into those other two bands that you had.
Then the Trackers after that.
So the Trackers were before the Portable People.
Yep. We used to live in New York with the Portable People. We shared the same loft on Spring Street in Greenwich Village. With the Portable People and the Trackers. And then one night we played in Syracuse. And my drummer, he ended up marrying the girl, but he was 19 and she was pregnant, 14 years old, and she went to Syracuse without telling her mother. Her mother found out where she was, and that's how the Trackers broke up. My cousin was the leader of the band. He threw me and Dino out, the two drummers.
Right. How long?
Drummer and guitar player.
How long were you in the Trackers there?
Let's see. Trackers was probably 2 years.
Oh, 2 years for the Trackers. Did you guys record anything?
We did a 5 record demo with a guy named Mickey Zawalski, who's now a big engineer now. He used to be a little Jewish kid in Ironically by the House of Guitars. We cut 5 tunes on a demo, so because we were going to move to New York, so we could send that ahead with our 8x10 glossies. That was that picture you seen. You took a picture of it. The 4 pictures.
Yeah.
I just seen him in Sweetwater, which is a big music distribution thing.
It's on the internet.
And he was in there. They quote him as using his studio stuff. So the guy's still working. So, I mean, I'm 67
is he out of Rochester?
He was from Ironically, yeah.
I mean, is he in Rochester now?
No, I have no idea. He probably lives in Hollywood or something now.
Oh yeah.
But he's still around.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big shot now.
Yeah. What about?
Yeah. Then like I said, me and Dino got kicked out of the Trackers, and then I heard the Portable People were in town for Christmas, and I asked those guys, I said, let me and Dino come with you, and we'll be roadies for you. And in the meantime, me and Dino were going to look for a bass player and put a group together and then break off. But what happened was the Portable People. I set up one night for them at the Electric Circus in the Village, and Jimi Hendrix's manager was going to come see him play. He had 2 managers. He had Chaz Chandler, which was a bass player for the Animals, and then Mike Jeffries. He was the other manager, the business end, I guess. Mike was Chaz was more the creative end because he produced all Hendrix albums, and they were going to sign the Portable People to be the opening act for Hendrix Experience. But the leader of the band didn't want to. He said that the management wasn't going to do anything for him. They just were just going to use them as an opening group. So he said, "We're going to California."
Leader of the Portable People.
Yeah, because everything's starting to happen. Greenwich Village was getting really overrun with runaways and stuff. So we went to California, and I was out there now a week, and they put me in the band.
No kid.
Yep.
Beautiful. How about the drummer? You put him in it also?
No, he got depressed, went home and got married. He married that girl that he got pregnant.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Which ended in a disaster.
How long were you in
It's
California?
too bad.
14 months.
Oh, 14 months in California.
And we recorded 3 albums out there. This David Hassinger, who used to be an engineer at RCA, started his own business called the Sound Factory in Hollywood. And then you got this rich guy named Van. I don't remember his first name. He used to own this place called Modern Music in Hollywood. They had rehearsal space, They used to store people's equipment like Buddy Rich, Deep Purple. I mean, big rehearsal halls. They had truckings. They had
Like a warehouse.
yeah, it was like we work at a Gannett. The big building like that was just full of all kinds of musical stuff. You know,
Whoa.
he
Nice.
supplied like all the studio musicians. They needed guitars delivered to different studios. Like Tommy Tedesco would go to 4 or 5 different stops instead of carrying his amp and guitar all over the place. They would deliver the stuff for him.
Nice.
Because you could rent stuff.
Nice.
Which I found that out just the last few years,
Oh yeah.
how that works. And yeah, we had this, he paid for all the studio time. We cut like 3 albums, but we never.
So when you first went out there, where'd you guys go take a van out there?
We drove on in a big U-Haul truck.
U-Haul?
It was me and Dino and the one roadie they had. And then the other group flew out after.
Then when you got out
we
there,
went to Encino, California.
did you have a place to stay already?
Encino, California, yeah. Yeah, those guys were, the Portable People were a group from Rochester, but they were a New York City band. They were real big in New York. They were the house band of a place called The Scene out in New York City, where that was like this, like the Studio 54 of disco in the 70s. Right. I mean, all the big rock stars went there. Johnny Winter's manager owned the place, Steve Paul, who went on to manage Johnny, get him a contract with Columbia. I mean, the Portable People, when they were playing there as a house band, I mean, Hendrix would come in and jam with them. Tiny Tim used to come in. Johnny Winters, of course, But anybody who was anybody in music, if they were in New York City playing, they would go there for drinks after their show if they played at the Gardens and whatever. It was a real hot, hot club.
Nice.
And then after the Portable People went to California, Rick Derringer's band, the McCoys, they took over as the house band, McCoys. And that's how Johnny got hooked up with Rick Derringer. Because his first album, which was an educational record of blues, it bombed on Columbia. So the record people said, get some young kids, some rockers, and that's where they got the McCoys. They got some of the McCoys, which Rick Derringer hooked up with Johnny Winters.
Yeah, oh yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
to try to get him, in where the kids would listen to him. Because they gave, Johnny got like $600,000
Oh, Winters love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that was a long relationship between Johnny and his brother Edgar,
Yeah.
That's, Rick Derringer and Edgar, they've been there together forever playing.
Wow. Nice. And you spent some time in New York City too, right?
Yeah, but really not that much. All my time was really spent in California. And then after about 14 months, we broke up.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, that's something. 14.
Did they ever they got back together after that though? You can't.
Oh yeah, well they came home and there was probably 2 or 3 different Portable Peoples that he put together over the years. But yeah, the original band was just gone. And that was more like a national act because we played all over the country. We only played Rochester 2 times.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They came over for Christmas a couple of times. They were strictly a New York City band. They were big in New York. They got big in California out in the valley.
So do you remember your first gig out in California?
It was at Mr. Benjamin's on Sepulveda Boulevard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
right in the valley.
Wow. You guys must have been walking on air, man.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I met Cubby from the Three Musketeers, from the Mouseketeers, the Disney Mouseketeers.
Oh yeah.
He used to be a drummer on the TV show. Well, his father was Les Brown in the band Renown, the famous jazz band from the 40s.
Yeah.
That was his dad.
Wow.
And we were working a club with him. And then he had Tommy Redding, who was a movie star. He worked with Robert Mitchum, Marilyn Monroe, Whitmire. He worked with everybody. He was a cute little kid. When I knew him, he was in his late 20s, and he was the biggest marijuana dealer in the Valley. His name was Tommy Redding. He worked with everybody in the movie business. So he was a big child star.
Is he still living, you think?
The last I heard about Tommy was, I remember reading about him in the 80s. He got into dealing coke and he got busted. So I never heard no more about it. But he must have had a lot of money. He probably bought his way out.
Yeah.
That was a great experience out in California.
Oh yeah. So you guys play every night? How do you
6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah, we do 2 sets a night.
You stay at the same place, or did you bounce around quite a bit?
Yeah, we played there for like 8 months straight, which was good when we went into the studio because then we were tight, man.
Oh yeah.
We were playing 6 nights a week. We were real tight, so the studio time went quick. We popped out 3 albums real fast.
Nice.
They kept watering us, trying to water us down.
Who wrote the music?
Commercial. Roger Rotoli was the main composer in the band.
Yeah.
I wrote one thing with Johnny D. Towner, the organ player, but Roger he wrote everything for the band.
Yeah.
He was a good songwriter.
Did you get any offers for any of your songs as far as?
The only offer we ever got was Chess Records that wanted to give us $10,000 for. We rearranged a Rascal tune, "Love Is a Beautiful Thing," and they wanted the arrangement, and we said you got to take the band, which was a big mistake. Now you think back now, $10,000 back in 1970, early '70 was like $100,000 today.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But we just wanted to get a recording contract.
Yeah.
And then when Charlie left, the organ player, they just we reorganized, put another group together. We were doing pretty good with that, and then we came home after.
The Lou Poggi there.
So, what was your favorite song, man, that you played through the first year there?
The Portable People,
Yeah.
New Day. That was gonna be our single.
New Day?
New Day.
A New Day. Oh, yeah. That was a good song.
Yeah.
That was the original.
You sang
totally
it?
original.
Were you the lead singer in that one?
No, Jerry Gervasi was the lead singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry used to be in a band called Dino and the Jarrells, which was his brother's band. And the drummer was Benny Grammatical, which is Lou Graham's brother.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute, wait.
Yeah.
Were they from Utica?
No, they were from
Oh, okay.
Rochester.
Rochester.
So
okay.
Lou Graham's brother was in the
Yeah.
band. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one time, like I say, we lost our drummer just before a gig at in Webster at the roller skating rink out there. There's an amusement park out there. And Dino goes, I got this young kid, man. He goes, he could fill in tonight. And it was Louis Grammatical, Lou Graham.
No kid.
Yeah, he knew everything. The kid was a freaking monster.
How do you do
Oh,
that?
yeah?
Yeah, like he played with us forever. He knew every tune.
Oh, okay.
No kid.
He's a
Great.
great drummer.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And I never seen him again.
Oh, yeah?
Other than, seen him
Well,
on TV
that's when you
he
took
was
off.
famous. Huh?
Well, you took off, and then when you...
Well, I was still in Rochester for another year, but we were just kids.
Yeah, but when you came back, he was probably out there roaming around with...
Oh, he was in Rochester playing. I didn't even know it till years later. A musician told me about it. I remember being home about 2 weeks in 1970, early in the spring, and I got a call from Ron Paul. He used to manage the Showstoppers. And he
Great
goes,
group.
yeah, I got a group, man. He goes, called Orange. They're looking for a guitar player. I heard you quit the Portable People. I said, well, I cut my hair off. I said, I'm going to work for my dad now, so I'm all done. And then I find out years later that Louis was playing drums in that band.
Right, right.
Oh.
So we would have got together, would have got together with him.
Yeah, oh, that would have been good.
Because Ron Paul, he was a great manager.
Yeah. Would he end up managing
So Showstoppers was his main thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was his big band. Then after they split up, then he had the Brass Buttons, and then
Oh, that's what I was going to...
then they went to the Brass
Brass
Buttons, and
Buttons,
then it must have been in the '70s. He had
Brass
Orange,
Orange, yeah.
which was Louis. I supposedly that's what this guy told me. He said Louis was the drummer in that band and singer.
You still know that song, man, on the guitar? New Day?
I just know like this much of it. That's all I remember of it, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's 50 years ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
You're playing more jazz nowadays, aren't you?
Yeah, jazzy blues style.
Yeah.
You never regret getting out of the band, working for your father, did you?
Nah, not really. I think I had about enough of it,
Oh, you just got
I'll tell you
tired.
one thing about it. Talk about drug abuse. I remember one time we were in California and Chris Wood used to be in Traffic, the horn player, and he came over to our house. We lived in Encino. He got there because we had two drummers in the band, and one drummer was a terrible drug problem.
Oh, yeah.
John DePoncio, he was terrible. He died from drugs. But that's how he ended up in our house. So I remember one time he says, "Come on, man, let's go into Hollywood, man." He goes, "Chris has got an apartment there," because he had a whole band. He was paying for everything, singers. He had a whole thing going, right?
Yeah.
So we got there, and he opened up the door. Everybody was out. I looked on the table. There was two big bowls, man. And one had yellows in it, one had reds, and everybody was freaking whacked right out.
Maybe you were better off going with your father.
Yeah.
Your father.
Yeah, right.
Saved your
You
life.
probably would
Chris Wood obviously had money because he was paying for everything. He paid for an
just,
apartment in Hollywood. He was paying for all these people. He was feeding all these people. He had about eight different people in the band. Right? So here I am, a 19-year-old kid. I got a big brainstorm. We were broke. I said, "Hey, man, we got the band truck outside. Why don't we just take everything, put it in the truck, we'll take it and sell it." I said, plus we'll take all their clothes too and leave them nude. This way to make them think about getting that high again. But everybody was
That's good, huh?
zoned out on barbiturates.
Oh my God, unreal, man.
Yeah, that's it. That's what the rock.
It goes to show when you got
right?
money and you're young.
Did
Right.
you end up? I mean, you probably don't want to tell the story.
What's that?
Did you end up taking her clothes off?
Oh no! Now the drummer said, "Now we ain't doing that. It's time to go." Because he didn't want to mess up his drug connection. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because you're on the road traveling, man.
Well, back I remember 1970. That was pretty big. You know, the reds and the yellows.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, right.
that was 1970. I think you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you never got into that, man.
I never liked the Donners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's how the business is. Like you said, you make a lot of money. Rock stars, like some of the early rock stars and the ones today with all the drug problems, you know. Like you said, the money takes you over.
Oh yeah, when you make it young, if you make it when you're young, you got money because everybody's gonna come after you.
Yeah,
You gotta
right.
find out what your vice is. Gambling, women,
Yeah, right.
you know,
right.
drugs, man. And, that's what happens to a lot of these guys, man.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
they just get eaten up.
Yeah, right.
You get that much money when you're young, you get in trouble.
Really, really, you know, you're young. You're just experiencing the world, right? And,
Oh yeah, I remember when I had my father's bar, Larry's Golden Grill in Shalat was real successful. I was bringing home between 1,000 and 1,500 a week. I was getting in trouble then. I was 29 years old, making a fool out of myself.
Something, right,
So I
right,
can't imagine
right,
19.
Yeah.
29, yeah.
You know, it's a good thing I met my wife.
I
'cause,
say you weren't married yet, were you?
no, I met my wife there a few months later. She straightened me out.
And then
Oh,
you settled
good.
down. She settled you down. Lucky for your wife.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, so-
you get a lot of experience, so you know.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
business,
stuff.
right?
You met a lot of entertainers out in California, didn't you, when you were out there?
Yeah, well, most of the Buffalo, Springfield, I played in clubs when they all had their different bands. You know, Neil Young had his own little folk thing going. You know, the drummer had a group. I ran into all those guys.
Yeah.
I remember that time in New York when Johnny D, I wasn't even in the band yet, but I knew I was going to get in the band. He brought me to the meeting with the lawyer and Mike Jeffries from Hendrix. And I was kind of in the way, so the guy goes, well, just why don't you go in that room over there? So I went in there, and all Hendrix amps were in there. He had amps in there, he had suitcases, man, with full of spare parts, strat parts from all the guitars he smashed. He would keep all the good parts and then
Yeah.
just keep building
Right,
guitars
right.
out of it. I went through his suitcase, looked at his clothes and stuff.
Yeah, he used to do that, smash the guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember
Oh, no
that.
kidding.
I think he got that from the Who, but he used to smash everything up. But he used to put everything back together. He was a real good technician. He used
Oh,
to
yeah.
re-
That's
a Fender,
right.
you can rebuild it. You know what I mean? It's, this thing, you break this, it's
Yeah.
a set neck, you're done. But with a
Right,
Strat, it's got 3 screws in the back. So you just unscrew the neck if the neck ain't broke. You could put
Yeah.
that, a body, you know what I mean? Put it on another body. Probably sometimes you would hit it, the neck would snap in half, the body would be
Isn't
okay.
that something? I learned something today. Look
That guitar you were playing in the picture there, man.
It's a Gibson Les Paul Custom, SG, white.
How much would that
Triple
go for
pickup.
today?
Oh, probably $3,000 now.
Yeah.
I think new, 3,500, something like that. Yeah, back then it were like $400, I think.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was the organ player's guitar. His mother had bought it in Manny's music store for him, and he gave it to me to use because I couldn't use it in the portable people. I mean, I couldn't use my guitar, which was a big hollow body Epiphone that
Oh,
I used in the trackers. That would feed back. Those guys were too loud. They were really doing heavy metal stuff before it even was heavy metal. Those guys. It was
Oh,
a real loud
right,
band.
right.
Two drummers. Everything was all scattered out. They played exactly the same. They had to work. The organ player would scat out most of the drum charts for them. The only time they played anything different is when they would try to solo and outdo
Right.
each other.
Yeah.
But everything else was the same.
Okay.
If one guy hit the snare, he hit the snare right at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was a nice sound.
Stereo, man.
Huh? Oh yeah,
Stereo.
they had a cool sound. They had no guitar in the band until I got in the band. They had a Wurlitzer electric piano that went through a Marshall, 100-watt Marshall, that was distorted. It had a cool sound to it. And you had the Hammond B3.
Hammond,
And Johnny
oh, yeah.
played left-hand bass on it. And the 2 drummers, and Charlie and Jerry Gervasi sang. Where if you probably asked Lou Graham, he probably would tell you Jerry was probably one of his first influences for vocalists. I mean, because I know he must have went to see his brother play.
That's the guy you're telling me.
Jerry Gervasi was our
Great.
lead singer.
Great singer.
Yeah, he was he played in Dino and the Drells. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, Louis must have known him way
Is he the
before.
one that you told me about when a 3 Dog Night came in, man?
Oh, yeah, we freaking ruined him, man. You can tell at Three Dog Night. I mean, vocally they were great, but you could tell musically they definitely had studio guys playing for them because they weren't saying nothing musically.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Jerry, he told them to go home and practice when we got and they had just had their first album out. I mean, I loved their album; it was a great
Oh
album.
yeah, they were.
But a lot of groups back then, they had studio guys making them look good. I remember we used to open up for a lot of bands with the Trackers, and I didn't believe some of the bands. They just, you could tell it wasn't the same group. Like the Box Tops, and the guy had that nice voice, but the band was real weak.
Yeah.
But he said Tedesco, he was a
Oh yeah, you can't afford to pay
musician.
Glenn Campbell and those guys to go on the road. Those guys go charge a lot of money. You could hire them, like the Righteous Brothers used to hire Glenn Campbell. He used to go on the road with him and play with him. I had a buddy of mine went to see the Righteous Brothers, and they had this great guitar player. Turned out it was Glenn Campbell. I mean, Glenn was doing like $200,000 a year back in those days, in the early '60s, doing stuff.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, those guys made big money.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great guitar
Oh,
player.
Right.
all the time greatest ever was.
Right.
Wow. I seen him do a duet one time with a banjo player. You know that.
Like Julie
What
Banjos.
is
or
that
something.
one from the movie?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Dear-
doing
Deliverance.
banjos.
Yeah, duet
Deliverance.
banjos. Yeah.
And Deliverance. Dueling
And
Banjos.
whoa,
Right.
was he, man?
Yeah, I seen a documentary when he's got Alzheimer's disease. He was losing it mentally, like for speaking and stuff, but he still could play.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And then he finally lost that
I knew a
too.
lady like that, a nursing home that I seen that played piano. She couldn't talk. Guess what?
She still could play.
Played the piano perfect. We
Yeah.
actually talked her into it. Sat in the corner. Guess what? One day we heard music. She played it. Didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Amazing how they
Hey,
remember.
Glenn
it.
Campbell did a whole tour, Farewell Tour. He was playing some really incredible
great.
stuff.
Oh, you play every day, don't you? Lou?
Yeah.
You get up early morning, play
Yeah,
for an
play early in
hour?
the morning, and I play at night.
Okay. Nice.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I just like studying now. You know,
Yeah.
No, that's
learn as
good.
much as
Yeah.
I can about music.
Yeah. Well, you know.
So you got to thank your wife. She
You're
settled
great
you down.
guy.
All
Yeah,
right, no drugs.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did
she
good.
straightened me out.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
But you probably
I've
would
been
have made
married,
it.
what, 38 years?
You probably would have made it if you would have stuck with. You know what I'm saying? All
Yeah,
the
we would've
people
stayed on
that
the
you
road,
met,
yeah.
all the musicians.
Or could end up in a grave, too.
I was just going to
That's
say,
it,
you would have
right.
made it to
Yeah,
the
that's
grave.
true.
Because I knew a lot of guys, man, they just got burned right now.
It's just like you said, the money takes you over and you can do anything you want. You know, you got all that power, like, right? And that's even today, right? Even with the rock stars today, look at what's going on.
Prince and everything.
Yeah, it's too bad, though. A lot of talent. A lot of good talent out there.
So,
We could play a little guitar there, man. You're to try the electric there. Good, man. Lou Poggi on guitar.
sounds good, man.
If you do it all over again, you do it again. If you were younger, you do it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Bands and travel, California, New York.
Yeah, it was a nice experience.
Well, see,
You
that's
think
what
you'd
it
want
is.
to do it a little longer this time if you did it over again?
Well, yeah, I wanted to go to England, you know.
Oh, okay.
But the organ player, he was the leader of the band. He was the brains of the whole group. And I loved playing with those guys. But he didn't want to go.
No kidding.
And his answer was, how are we going to get the organ over there?
Oh, the B3 Hannah?
That
that's
told
true.
me- Yeah,
Right.
Well, at the time I was 20, he was 25 going on 26. He's been on the road since 1966, Johnny. He did that
That's
thing.
something.
He played with Group Therapy, which was a big band back in the
Oh, yeah.
60s out of New York. And
Wow. Nice.
I just knew right there that this guy's
You know, they didn't really.
is getting ready to go home,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I
That
said,
must have broke your heart,
Yeah,
man.
it
You
did.
had an opportunity.
yeah, I wanted to go. Let's go to Europe.
Yeah.
We did New York. We did good there. It didn't
Right.
happen. Went to
Yeah.
California. It didn't happen there.
Right.
Go to England.
England might have did it.
And that's what Stray Cats
Right.
did.
Yeah, right.
They
Oh,
even
yeah.
sold all their stuff and went over there. And that's where they made it. Was in England.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
a good. That was a good move.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of groups over, and you know, over there that
Right.
didn't make it here. Went over there and they became very
Well,
popular.
real big stars out there, right? In other countries.
And
Probably vice versa.
As good as you
Right,
guys
right.
were, from
Yeah.
I mean, everybody I've known that knew the Portable People said, "Hey, you guys were great."